Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by AOL Music and Spinner.com, where you can get free MP3s, exclusive interviews, and more. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 237 for March 1st, 2010. Master Iterator. This Week in Tech is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Do more and travel less with GoToMeeting. Make your next meeting a GoToMeeting instead. For your free 30-day trial, visit gotomeeting.com/twit. And by Audible.com. Sign up for the Platinum Plan and get 2 free books. Go to audible.com/twit2 and follow Audible on Twitter. User ID, audible_com. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your new account, go to squarespace.com/twit. It's time for TWiT, This Week in Tech, the show that covers the week's tech news with the unusual iconoclastic panel of tech pundits, starting with our good buddy, Jason Calacanis from Mahalo.com. Hello.
Mahalo. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Mahalo. Shalom for Purim.
Shalom. I'm here. I'm ready to do the show.
We're all wearing funny hats, but they're really just headsets for the Skype.
Delicious/twit/237. I'm ready.
This is it, baby. You got the stories.
Ready to go.
Let's see. Also with us, besides Jason, we got the great Dwight Silverman from the Chronicle, Houston Chronicle, at blogs.cron.com/techblog.
Hello, Leo. How are you today?
Hey, Dwight. Dwight was a little sad.
I feel so much better than the last time I was on your show. I was like sick, and I was just kind of leaning in the corner, but I'm ready for bear. Watch out, Calacanis.
and Jason is the bear.
Wait a second. Did Dwight just say he's smoking chronic?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's on the Chronicle.
He's on the Chronicle. Hey, here's a face we haven't seen in a long time. Brett Larson, my old friend, he was at Macworld Magazine, then he did a regular feature on Tech TV on my Call for Help show. Then when Tech TV went kablooey, he went to New York, where he has been working at Fox 5 for, 5 years?
Several years now. Several years.
And then...
I was there for 2. I was at CBS before that.
CBS, that's right. You went to CBS, then 5. Yeah, and now he's wandering around, as we say in the business, on the beach.
Yes.
On the beach. But I got a job for you, Brett. We're going to talk a little later. Because I got an idea for Mr. Larson.
I
have something. I think something Brett could do.
Emmy award-winning Brett Larson.
That is correct.
Nice hat.
I'm jealous of the green hat.
With wings. What the hell?
Like Kid Icarus or something?
I don't know. What are you wearing that hat for? Oh, it's Purim. What am I saying?
I have no funny hats within reach. Dang it.
This is not fair. I don't even have a hat for the snowstorms that we just had.
You guys are out there in cold.
This hat is related to a website that's outside the United States. Whoever guesses it first on the chat room.
Okay, it's got wings. It's kind of a green canvas hat.
Somebody will get it.
It's got a red ribbon, or orange ribbon across the front.
Somebody will get this because of the wings. It's a website outside the United States.
FTD? Somebody says the FTD?
Nope.
Is it an angel investor hat?
Hey.
Hey. All right.
Leo, I like your hat personally.
It's a web company in Asia.
Asian web company.
One of the top 20.
Well, that narrows it down.
Yeah.
Hermes, top 20 websites.
Hermes.
It's Hermes. Yeah.
Now, my hat is what they call a Jane hat, Jayne, and it was knitted for me by Kat of Let'sKnitTogether.com. Jane was a character in the TV show Firefly. Remember? He was the big tough guy. And his mother sent him this hat, and he was so scary and tough that, of course, all of his friends, when he put this silly hat on, said, "Oh, it suits you." looks good, Jane. Looks good. Hey, here's the stories of the week. Rumor flying because of a stray random tweet from Alex Payne, one of the founders of Twitter. MG Siegler spotted the tweet, which said, and I quote, if you had some of the nifty site features that we Twitter employees have, you might not want to use a desktop client. You will soon. A lot of speculation on that. Dwight, now you just told me about Echo Phone, which is a new desktop client from the folks who do the Mac or the iPhone app, Echo Phone.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while. It's in beta right now. It's free. I've been using TWiT on the Mac, which is had gotten to be the gold standard for Twitter desktop clients on the Macintosh platform. But TWiT hasn't been kept up in terms of features. It doesn't support lists. It just hasn't kept up with what Twitter is able to offer it. And so Echo Phone is available as a free download while it's in beta, and it does lists. It has a cool drawer that kind of slides out and shows you additional information if you want it. It loads very quickly. And it's very simple in terms of its interface. Jason called it elegant. I agree with that. It's really nice.
Yeah, they're a very popular iPhone app, Echo Phone is.
Well, it's because they have a free one that is fairly well featured, and there's also a pay one that does more. But the free one has a lot of features, and so it gets used by a lot of folks who don't want to pay.
I use Brizzly, which is web-based, and I think that's probably one of the companies that might be threatened by what Alex said. I also use Hootsuite. That's what you were saying you liked, Jason, right? And
yes, and I have inside information on the Twitter issue.
Oh, let's hear it.
I always try to break some news on the program. So I had dinner with Evan Williams last month at the TED conference.
Was that at that Edge dinner? Man, that looked like
the Edge
party.
Dinner.
Holy cow.
There were 50 people at this dinner. I was the 51st person. I basically got to put my left foot in the room for about 30 seconds. It was like Bill Gates, Larry and Sergey, Ev Williams, and then people like Daniel Dennett and Sam Harris and all these incredible authors who are his clients. He's my book agent, even though I haven't written a book, but I get offers.
But wait a minute. So he didn't invite you to the dinner? He let you step
He did. Oh, okay. I'm sort of joking, being facetious, that I did not belong at this dinner. But
no kidding. I would have been tongue-tied with those people.
Well, what happens is I walk in, and it's like I'm sitting next to Matt Groening from The Simpsons fame.
Yeah.
And so I've met him a couple of times, and really nice guy. And I got Daniel Dennett to my right, and Sam Harris at the table, and Jeff Bezos. And it's crazy, discussion going on about.
Were the conversations good, or were the people so at different?
No. It was incredible, because what happens is, at a thing like this, everybody is so brilliant, except for me, that it doesn't end. Everybody has something to contribute, so these conversations they flutter between all kinds of different topics.
Right. Oh, amazing. I would love to be there for that, boy.
I'll get you in next year.
Now, let me ask you about that, because are you persona non grata at
I'm
TED? What do you do? You play poker there.
Well, here's what happened. There was a guy who ran. I've never told the story before, so this is another TWiT exclusive.
Wow.
There was a guy named Richard Saul-Wurman who ran TED originally.
Yeah, I know Richard pretty well. In fact, when he started TED, I used to have him on my radio show. He did the access guides. He was all about UI design. Smart guy.
Very brilliant guy.
Loved him.
And he's a total curmudgeon.
Yeah. Very much like Dvorak, kind of.
Dvorak, Jeff Jarvis. So anyway, here's what happens. Brockman, I'm talking about 10 years ago. I'm 26 years old, 27 years old, in the late 90s. Brockman invites me to his dinner. This is when they were doing it in Monterey. So I say, okay, I'll come to the dinner. They call it the billionaire's dinner because, whatever. And only 50 people get to go to this out of the 2,000 people go to TED. Wow. So now all the controversy about how exclusionary TED is. Now imagine having a dinner for 2% of the people at TED. Now you get an idea of what this ticket's like.
I mean, even Robert Scoble wasn't there.
Oh, they wouldn't let Robert Scoble within 5 blocks of the dinner. Forget it. If Robert Scoble was the busboy, they wouldn't let him bring in the bread.
Right. It's like, out of here.
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I go to that thing. Richard Saul-Wurman finds out that I'm going to go to this dinner, and he goes on tilt. And he starts telling everybody that I'm crashing TED.
Because the dinner isn't TED, but
it's not TED.
Piggybacks on TED.
John Brockman is the most famous agent and brilliant guy, and he has all the great authors in the world of science, like Jared Diamond and all these people. He's their agent, and he basically gets all these books done. And anyway, all the tech people and the scientists and literati and digerati all sort of get together at his salons. long story short, he basically starts telling everybody I'm crashing. So I confront him on it, and he's like, "You're never going to TED ever."
Please.
And I said, "Okay, F you. I will never go to TED, but I will come to the dinner." Then Chris Anderson starts running TED. Now, Chris Anderson...
He took it over from Saul. Okay.
Right. So Richard Silverman. But Chris Anderson was a video game publisher, right? He had these like video game magazines, and then all of a sudden he became... Yeah, he had this publishing company, Future Publishing or something. I don't know.
Oh, he was Future. Yeah. Okay.
He did this publishing company that did all these video games. So then he asked me for this advice in the weblog thing days, like, how would I do a blog? Because Ted had no website. So I go to dinner with him, I explain everything. And then I'm like, hey, I'd love to go. And he's like, oh, totally. Go to the website on this day and, buy a ticket. I'm like, well, I'd like to go this year. He's like, I can't make it happen. But go to the website on this day, the day of TED, and you can buy it for next year. So
$6,000 ticket, by the way.
Well, this is back when it was $4,000. So I think, you know what? I'll bite the bullet. I have the cash to do it now. Screw it. I got to redeem myself. New group of people. I go to the website the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I go to the website. It says sold out.
Already. It sells out a year ahead of time.
Right. So I email him like, hey, I tried to sign up. He's like, call me in 3 months. I'm like, okay. I set my calendar. I email in 3 months. He's like, call me in 3 months. I email him again 3 months. He's like, oh, sign up on this day for next year. So I'm like, okay. So they have my assistant do that. And again, I can't get in. So now I'm being jerked around.
Oh, boy.
And I helped the guy out, and I was nice to him, and I gave him a bunch of advice. So finally I said, you know what, screw this. I'm not going to be his donkey and beg him. So I tell all the people who work for him who want to come to TechCrunch 50 and stuff like that, I let them come. I give them comp tickets, And they're like, oh, thank you for the ticket. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, you coming to TED? I'm like, I would never go to TED in my life. I'm like, why? I'm like, because you guys treat me like a jerk-off, and I'm not a jerk-off, and I'm not going to sit here and be treated like a jerk-off. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'll never go. And so now I go. I had a poker game. I took $1,200 off of some guy who goes to TED. So and now I'm positive $7,200 because I didn't buy the $6,000 ticket. And so now I'm really persona non grata because I host a poker game in the lobby of TED. And the big secret is go to the lobby of the 2 or 3 hotels there, have a drink at night. You'll meet everybody at TED. You don't have to buy a $6,000 ticket. Just lobby crash. And if Jason's lobby crashing and I'm a player, you can lobby crash. There's no shame in it.
Well, that's what I'm going to do next year.
Totally, come down and you can interview people. It's like no big deal. It's in Long Beach and everybody has dinners. We should just do a total like not invited group.
To me, the Edge dinner was much more interesting than what was going on at TED. But so well, we're going to take a break. But you talked to Ev at this dinner,
to Ev and he gave me the straight dope.
We're going to get the straight dope.
Yeah.
What's happening at Twitter? Like I care.
You care about this.
Oh, I do.
When we come back.
When we come back, after this word from the folks at Citrix, the makers of the great GoToMeeting product. See, this would be another way you could have a TED conference. You just keep your butt in your chair, put GoToMeeting on your system, and then have a meeting, and anybody can see it. And in fact, there's they have a GoToWebinar, where you can have lots of people see it. I mean, these guys really know remote access. Citrix, of course, you've heard the name. They do the enterprise-grade remote access. They're the ones who licensed remote access to Microsoft for their own remote product. They do GoToMyPC. They go to Assist. And GoToMeeting, this is the one for meetings. So the problem with a meeting is it's expensive. The business travel, if you don't,
delays,
a pain in the butt. It's just not worth it. Or you can have conference calls, but then they're not visual, and people are bored. And you know what they're doing? They're answering. They're tweeting. Right. While you're talking, they're tweeting.
They've got their BlackBerries in their hands.
They're typing away. You can tell. Yes. We've been on that conference call where
Absolutely.
the guy he clearly drifted off, and then suddenly says, well, "Yeah," it's like he's not there. So what you got to do is engage them. You got to give them something visual to look at, and this is where GoToMeeting is so cool. You can install it right now free for 30 days. GoToMeeting.com/twit. It take you before I'm done talking. You'll have it installed. It's that fast. No cost to you. Now the next time you're on that call, you say, hey, you're probably getting bored. Let me send you to. So you say, go to GoToMeeting.com. He goes there. You say, click the join a meeting button. He does that. You give him the meeting ID. Now, suddenly, he's seeing your computer. He's seeing your desktop. He says, oh, that's nice wallpaper. Yeah, that's my kids. Let me show you the PowerPoint. And he's seeing the PowerPoint. He's very engaged. And then you could say, hey, you want to work on this spreadsheet? I got the numbers. What do you think here? And suddenly, you can give him control of the computer. It is truly revolutionary. It is the best way to have a meeting.
I do it 3 or 4 times a week. Mahalo sales calls. We do it like this. People from New York, people from San Francisco. It just works. I mean, the thing is, I think people tried these kind of services, Leo, like 4 or 5 years ago, and they, the screen flickered, and maybe it didn't work.
It was awful. Yeah.
It was problematic. Let's be honest. 5 years ago, this technology was not ready for prime time. Now,
just like us, just like streaming.
Absolutely, and now it's flawless. It really is flawless, and the webinar thing is really incredible. I mean, you can get a lot of people on these things now. So if you want to have a conference, this is what I've been thinking about doing for my show, This Week in Startups, is doing a webinar and charging people like $20 to do like, hey, everybody come in, and this is a webinar.
I got an idea for you. I got an idea. In fact, I've been meaning to write to you. We want to do kind of like an angel investing meeting where people come in and they pitch using GoToMeeting. They're pitching. Oh yeah. You know, a business plan, and we let the audience invest and vote who's best, and everybody can put in a buck or whatever. We create a little consortium of listeners who put some money. Wouldn't that be fun?
That is an awesome idea.
And we get GoToMeeting, it kicks them in.
Yeah. You bring your idea to the table, pitch it to the people.
Exactly.
And then it's like American Idol for your.
Isn't that a good idea, Greg?
It's a reality show.
It is. It's a reality show.
Oh, so brilliant. And GoToWebinar would be the perfect platform.
So I'll send you an email because Greg Martin, one of our sales guys, came up with this, and he really wants to do it. I think he's got, and this was just a natural for these guys at Citrix. They would, I'm sure, love to sponsor it. GoToMeeting.
Be the Simon Cowell.
You would be it. You could be it.
That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
Who's taking Simon Cowell's place?
Dvorak?
I think Howard Stern is.
Howard Stern supposedly is.
Yeah, this would be $100 million deal.
Well, it's worth it.
It's the only show that can afford him. Sirius can't fork over that kind of cash.
But can Howard Stern do a mainstream TV show without a Symbian or a porn star or something going on in the background there?
I think he would do fine because you know what? He's an intelligent guy, and he does all that other smarmy stuff just to, you know.
He's a smart guy.
Well, I mean, he's the type of person that is going to say whatever he feels. If you come out there and you belt out a tune,
that's what you need.
He's going to say, "That's the worst thing I've ever heard."
He said, "Darling, come here. You suck. Yeah. You suck. You're terrible. Go home." Nice.
Right. And with webinar, with Go, just to bring it back around, with GoToMeeting, he wouldn't have to leave New York.
He could do it from his home.
See,
just
look at that.
Put a nice 27-inch Apple
Darling,
cinema display
beautiful.
right there in the
How
seat.
did you get so beautiful? Your waist
Pull your skirt up.
Yeah, hike it up. All right, so what did Ev? That was it. That's the ad. GoToMeeting.com. Try it right now.
That's about 3 ads. GoToMeeting should pay.
Should pay three times.
Double this week. We gave him about 3 ads.
I know. GoToMeeting.com/twit. That's what I had to tell you. So you're talking to Ev.
Yeah. So I talked to Ev about this issue, and he is a little frustrated that he's frustrated that he can't have a soup to nuts experience where people have, you know, a Twitter client on their iPhone.
That's bad because it was the API that put Twitter on the map. The fact that third-party applications exist.
He knows that. However, now Twitter is going to mass adoption, and your mom is confused, or maybe not your mom, but
you've heard from my mom.
Well, let's
you know
call
my
her.
mom.
Yes,
yeah.
I know. We're going to get her on the line.
Mom,
but, she just wants to. They just want to have a basic Twitter application for Android, for iPhone, for BlackBerry that has the basic features that is, you know, brain dead simple on the website, and he's basically considering doing it. And then what he would have to say to the people, which he's had to do already with things like lists and things like the group tweeting, etc. You have to move up the stack and provide more value. So he's not going to make a multi-user, you know, Twitter client, but I guarantee you he will have a Twitter client this year on every platform named the Twitter client. So right now, he told me the problem is you search for Twitter in the iTunes store, and it's a bad user experience because which one do you use?
Right.
There should be an official one that is easy to use. Now, that one doesn't have to have the feature set of Hootsuite or Seesmic or TweetDeck or the other leading ones that are out there, and it certainly won't. And in fact, they don't want that. They want the simple, basic one.
Have you seen Seesmic look?
I have, yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Seesmic is, I have to tell you, Loic asked me to invest in his company when it was the threaded comments. And I said, you know what? The people who are in the comments on blogs are ugly people. They're never going to turn their video cameras on. Right. They're not good-looking people. These are trolls.
And you were right. Seesmic, the video thing just died.
Total, yeah. But however, I did make a mistake because you should bet the horse, not, you know, whatever the race. And I know he's a great entrepreneur. And
Wait a minute, say that again. You should bet the horse, not the race.
Yeah. So like, you want to. The horse might not win in this race, but he will win a race at some point. Like, I'd rather own the horse than just bet on the horse for this race.
Got it. And
so as an investor, I should have bet on him, not the race he was in with the video comments. Because even if he loses that race, which I knew he would, he wasn't aware that he would. But that's part of being an entrepreneur is you got to bang your head against the wall. And he banged his head against the wall. He tried for 2 years, and then he bought that Twitterific Was it Twitterific he bought and then rebranded?
No, I can't
Twirl.
remember.
He bought Twirl.
That's what he bought. Yeah.
And rebranded it. And God bless him, he makes, I think, the best client out there. I mean,
I don't know if he makes any money on it. I don't know exactly where the business
He's
model is.
basically, he's good friends with Evan. I would say 60-70% chance Seesmic gets bought by Twitter. They'll buy the leading one.
Well, that's what made me think. If they're going to do a desktop app, they should do Look. I mean, this is beautiful. It's
beautiful, but it's
nice looking.
After you use it for a while, it gets a little frustrating to use. I think even if you're a noob, if you poke around in there, it's kind of confusing as to what's happening where.
I thought it's using Windows Presentation Foundation, WPF. I thought it was gorgeous, and I just thought, well, it's not for me because I'm a power user, but for my mom, it might be good. But you don't think so?
I think that what it does is it pushes you towards kind of the suggested users. You know, when you first fire it up and you go in it, it's got these channels it wants you to use, and it's almost difficult to get to your friends and your timeline. It's like a different thing than a traditional Twitter client. But you know, if they're interested in having their own Twitter client and they were to end up buying something like Seesmic, Twirl, which they stopped development on. Now that they're doing the Seesmic client stuff, it would be really interesting to rebrand Twirl as the Twitter client and just keep it as simple as it is.
Is it easier to monetize Twitter if you hold the client? I guess it is.
Well, if you're doing ads or if you are charging for the client, but there, you know, if you're having a client where you don't pay for it and you're not putting ads on it, you run into the same problem that Twitter has.
Right.
And if they do a really simple app, and they have the competition of things like Echo Phone, which is very easy to use, and I mean, you don't have to be a genius to use Echo Phone. Why would anybody use something that doesn't have as many features as something like Echo Phone when they can use that?
Well, here's what's coming.
Sense to me.
I actually know what's coming. There's going to be there's two things that are coming. One is there will be in-stream advertising. So it doesn't matter what client you use.
That's important because otherwise you can completely defeat it.
Right. So every 5th or 20th or 200th, maybe let's call it every 200th tweet will be an ad in your tweet stream, and it will be based on what people are talking about in your tweet stream.
That's smart.
So let's say,
very smart. Will it be location aware so it'll know to like only send me stuff that's around me?
Of course it will. And so what you're going to have is Leo and I are talking on, Twitter, and we both are at South by Southwest, and it's like, here's an ad for Dell computers, party in South by Southwest, or a bad example, but, it will know that we both have Android phones or whatever and give us an Android ad.
Can you pay to not see the ads?
I don't think they're going to have that option.
Freemiums.
I'd love
a freemium, right?
I think with Buzz here, if Twitter does that, there's a group of us, not certainly the mainstream, not the millions who. What is it? 50? What did they just say? It was 500 million tweets a day or some ridiculous number?
Yeah. So,
those people aren't going anywhere. But I'm gonna go to Buzz. In fact, I'm kind of mostly on Buzz already.
Well, the thing that's gonna happen is you say that now, but when you see one ad out of just like do you block your ads when you do Google searches?
No, in fact, I see Google ads all the time in my Gmail and everywhere else.
So you're complaining, but you're not going to go anywhere if it's modest.
Yeah, but it's not in your stream. It's not right there in your face.
That's what I don't like because it's part of the editorial. It's essentially part of the editorial.
It will be clearly labeled when you go to Engadget and you page down. You will see a medium rectangle ad. Every blog has that, and it's in the tweet and it's in the content stream. And we just did an ad for GoToMeeting in the stream.
Is your you're right. Is your experience as a blogger, Jason, in the past those are the ads that work, not the sidebars, but the ones that are really in the content?
Okay, here's what happens. If you make a beautiful graphic ad on the top, a leaderboard, and on the side a medium rectangle, those things can capture people in the general audience. But for sophisticated users, putting an ad within the content column will, if it's a content-based ad, like if it's text and it has good clickable links in it, that will work better.
Right.
So you have to know which ones to use. Beautiful graphic ones on the top and the side, and content-rich ones in the middle.
Cleavage, apparently, according to Jacob Nielsen.
That's if you want to get click-through, but you're trying to get other things like messages. But anyway, so the point
Isn't that funny? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just so obvious, but it actually works.
It is.
Then the clients will then have the ability to sell their inventory on the top. So the top tweet on your deck could rotate and be from a specific person. So that's what you're going to see.
But see, here's my thing with advertising. I got to say, the Facebook ads are starting to get more specific to the point where I'm actually paying attention to them. So clearly they're skimming my profile to know how old I am, where I live, and I'm assuming they're reading the messages that I send back and forth. But it makes the advertising more effective. I think if I'm looking at it, that means it's better. So if they're going to watch my tweets and send me something,
the ads on Facebook I mean, the way they use the context and your demographics are really ham-handed. I keep seeing ads. I'm 53. I keep seeing ads that say 53-year-old men wanting to test an iPad.
I get that ad too.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm 53 too. I just thought everybody got that. I immediately
click that button and go.
That's really not where I thought you guys were going with that. But okay.
We get the other ad as well. Believe me. Believe me.
So no,
I think look. I agree. Not everybody is handling their demographic information properly.
Right. Right.
It's more than it's more than just looking at it. It's got to be relevant, and it's got to be smart. And as Jason said, it has to do more than make you click on it. It's got to draw you in and make you do something with it.
Did you see that Facebook has got a patent on the news feed?
Really?
I have strong feelings on this, but I can't speak for the next 5 minutes.
I know that the chat room's banned you.
The Jaders have told me I can't speak. So
no, you can talk all you want. The news feed, which is okay. Now, actually, after looking at the patent, we talked a little bit about this on Twig yesterday. After looking at the patent, it's really saying, well, this isn't just a patent for like a news feed. This is a patent for taking activities that your social graph is doing. Brett Larson just bought a poodle. Dwight Silverman just smoked a cigar, and that goes in there too. And so I could see. I mean, that's unique, isn't it? Or well, go ahead, Jason.
There is going to be a lot of prior art that's going to come out that will negate this patent.
Yeah.
And it's a distasteful patent.
It's such a broken system, this patent.
But it's a distasteful patent from a distasteful person, Mark Zuckerberg, who has been stealing every single person's innovation.
Really?
He's stolen everything Twitter does. He just incorporates, and then he incorporates Foursquare. He just steals everything that's out there.
Right.
Now, you can have a very intelligent argument that smart people, that there should be no, patents, et cetera, and then people are iterating on each other, and that's fine. I believe
and that's what happens in the computer industry. I mean, Apple steals from Microsoft, Microsoft steals from Apple, and the iteration is good for everyone.
Exactly.
However, when you are the master iterator, and then you start pulling patents out.
Say that carefully.
You're the master iterator.
You have to be an adult to do that?
Yeah, when you're a master at iterating, and you're iterating 3 times a day.
Yes.
All the time, and that's what you're known for, your iteration. Even when you do it at home, alone, in the middle of the night, you're iterating. Nonstop iteration.
Yes.
You should not be filing patents because you're a little thief anyway, and everybody knows Zuckerberg's a little thief, and everybody in the industry hates him.
Really?
Everybody.
Really?
Everybody. And he is being gunned for right now like you would not believe.
Who's gunning for him? Who?
I'm not saying anything. I was at a table with his partners, with other people who compete with him, multiple CEOs, and they were bad-mouthing him like you would not believe. He is hated. Because
is it because he's young and he created something that most of the world is using?
It's not that. What it is
but that's got to be some of it. People hate. I mean, these are sophisticated people. They don't hate him because of his success.
Okay. No, what they hate him for is he steals everybody's ideas and then files a patent like this. And he does not care about people in the way that the first web generation of entrepreneurs did.
That's very much true. He is very much of a new generation. He's a new generation of. It's been up to now very collegial, and the sharing of ideas has been positive and not even competitive exactly. I mean, when you did Propeller, for instance, which was a clone,
the idea.
It was a clone of Dig.
Well, I was trying to evolve the idea. I said, what if you put an editorial team on top of
you and Kevin are still good friends.
Of course, because he knew I was adding to what he had done, and he knew that he was adding to what Josh at Delicious had done.
Right.
We were building off each other. People don't feel that way about Zuck.
It's not the same.
And the other thing is, he does not support any open standards. He will not let you export your address book. When you get that BlackBerry thing,
No, it's a silo. It's a silo. But so is Twitter. Twitter's, it's less of a silo. At least it has an API.
You can build anything on Twitter. You own your content. You can export your list, do whatever you want. Yeah. And that's exactly the rub. He is into closed systems and stealing and these patents. He's a bad person. People don't like him. And I think he's going to be like Caesar kind of situation. He's like the big king, and then he's gonna get stabbed.
Who's going to be his Brutus? Who's the Brutus?
Oh, it's gonna be multiple. There are so many people gunning for him right now that the daggers are gonna start coming out.
So, Jason, do you think that the lawsuit, the early lawsuit in which his friends in college alleged that he stole all their intellectual property to make it, was that kind of an example of what he does regularly? Is that what you're saying?
What do I personally think?
Yeah.
I personally think that he has a stealing gene, and he doesn't have. I think he's got like that Asperger's thing where he doesn't care about other people or no empathy. So if you look at his pattern, yes, he was working for somebody else when he stole the idea for
wait
Facebook.
A sec. Let's rewind the tape a minute to, or we don't use tape anymore. But no. What if it's just a case of he's just a better businessman? And these people, I mean, because how often have you sat around the table with your friends and you're like, it would be a great idea if we created a, custom
nobody
T-shirt
will
website.
Deny
and
that
8
he is
people said,
incredible.
that's a great idea. And the 9th person went and did it. And then the other 8 are like, what the hell?
Oh, you stole our idea.
That was a conversation we had over dinner.
How is this any different from Microsoft? And what
it's not. And Microsoft went to Microsoft got sued by the Justice Department for doing what they did.
Right.
It's not. Except the only difference is he's better at it than Bill Gates was.
Interesting. Will he be richer?
It's quite possible. And the 2 lawsuits, you got to remember, there were 2 lawsuits in the early days.
Right.
One from the Connect You guys who say he stole their ideas.
Right.
And 2, according to that book, that it's going to be turned into a movie.
The Ben Eisenreich book, which is, by the way, a great book, but I don't know how accurate. Accidental Billionaires.
Well, it's also a great audio book, but I don't want to jump the gun.
We will get there.
He supposedly, allegedly, took his co-founder out of the company, reincorporated, and moved the assets into that new company and screwed his co-founder, and then that Javier guy, and then had to go back and settle that.
That's very dramatic, and we don't know
multiple lawsuits.
But now remember that Ben got most of his sources was that guy, not Mark, but I can't remember the other guy's name, but that was his source. So we're hearing one side of it. It's going to be a movie, by the way. Justin Timberlake is going to be in it.
Yeah.
Wow. Is Justin Timberlake going to play him?
No, he plays the entrepreneur.
Sean Parker.
Yeah, Sean Parker. And who's playing Mark? I don't know. Who would you cast to play Mark Zuckerberg in the Accidental Billionaires?
That kid from American Pie.
Yeah, him.
Who humps the pie in the kitchen.
Yeah,
it has to be.
He's 48, but somebody like him.
Yeah. The partner's name was Eduardo Saverin, and if you go look it up, Eduardo Saverin, they settled their feud, but it was a major feud.
Oh, yeah. And in the book, it's very dramatic. He basically gets the rug pulled out from under him.
Yeah, basically one day it's his company, the next day it's not. Yeah.
Who is it?
Jesse Eisenberg.
That's the kid from American Pie, or that's the guy who's going to play Zuckerberg?
That's the kid. That's who's going to play. That's who's going to play Zuckerberg.
Somebody sent me. I don't know if it's true or not. It's an Aaron Sorkin script, which to me is all I need to hear. Jesse Eisenberg looks just like Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, that's a good.
Oh yeah.
And Jesse Eisenberg is also he was in Zombieland. He's the kid in Zombieland.
Oh, there you go.
Which is a great movie.
So somebody sent me what they purported to be the script. I'll send it along to you, Jason. I don't know if it's real or not, but it reads like an Aaron Sorkin script. I think it is.
Yeah, the script was.
Now, is this going to be like a made-for-TV movie?
No, this is a big deal. Trigger Street production. It's Kevin Spacey production.
It's called The Social Network.
Oh, really? They changed the name.
That's the name on IMDb anyway. The Social Network.
Oh, okay. Because the name of the book was Accidental Billionaires. The Social Network, an upcoming 2010 comedy drama. David Fincher directing. That's good. Jesse Eisenberg, Brenda Song, Justin Timberlake, Andrew Garfield, Rooney Mara, and Arnie Hammer. Aaron Sorkin writes from Ben Mesrich's 2009 novel, The Accidental Billionaires. That should be good.
Oh, and Stanley Tucci is playing Jason Calacanis in it.
Really?
Yes.
Are you in it?
No. I got the ability to pick. It's actually going to be Rick Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder? All grown up. But he's just the right height.
I was at the WPT celebrity poker tournament, and so I was introducing myself. I said, "Hey, Rick Schroeder." People believed it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You look like a little Ricky Schroeder. You might get that all the time.
Silver spoons.
We're going to We're going to take a little break, come back with more. Might as well do the Audible thing since you started it. And I know you love Audible, Jason. Audible.com/TWiT2. That's the place where you can go get 2 Audible books. I guess we're going to have to make Accidental Billionaires be one of them. You should, I always like to read the book before I see the movie. And when I say read, I mean listen, because Audible just brings these books to life. I mean, and I really enjoyed listening to Accidental Billionaire.
You know when I like Audible? When I'm on the subway.
Sure.
Because not only do I not have to listen to the crazy people around me, it's like I'm reading, but I don't have to be focused.
Right.
And I can continue. I can get on the subway. I can get off the subway. I can do my whole commute without ever having to pick up a book, but yet I'm still getting the information.
That's the idea, is that you can read even in the places where you wouldn't want to hold a book. When you're using your forearms to defend yourself against stab wounds, but you don't have to put the book down. It's great.
Yeah.
And you're walking upstairs. Maybe you can't get a seat. And you could. Yeah, it's awesome.
You can never get a seat on the sub. All the service cuts. Service cuts.
I have an Audible pick.
All right, so there's one, Accidental Billionaires, founding of Facebook, but you're going to get 2 if you go to audible.com/TWiT2. What's your second one?
By the way, they build up. They don't expire.
Oh, you keep them forever. If I look at my library, I've got well over 350 books now in my library.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
occasionally when my iPod is on random,
you'll get a book.
Play an audiobook.
Isn't that funny?
And I think that's very. It'll go from like a song to Ellen DeGeneres reading whatever the name of her book is.
You know, you can actually tell it not to include books in the shuffle. You know that, right?
But that makes it more fun.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
You're randomly rocking out, and then all of a sudden it's like, when I was 17, I discovered that.
That sounds pretty good.
Oh, Ellen.
I'm leaving it at that.
Oh, Ellen.
The best of times, it was the worst of times.
Oh, dear.
It's read by her, too. That's what's so great.
I love Ellen. I think she is so funny.
So my pick is Talent is Overrated, What Really Separates World-Class Performers from Everybody Else. Talent is Overrated. It's by Jeff Colvin, and it is a nonfiction book, which I love. I love it. And it is narrated by David Drummond, and it is awesome.
Wow.
It goes into, like...
So is this like a Freakonomics type book or Outliers kind of thing?
Yes, but it's better because it gets really into what makes somebody truly great at something.
Oh,
and
I got to listen to this.
On that same... This is like, I'm pretty sure that the Outlier stuff with the 10,000 hours...
Yep.
Was sort of derivative of this book. I don't know that, but somebody will check that fact and put it in the chat room. But it is great because it goes into like what actually, like, here are these 3 chess champions, and here's Mozart.
It's the same premise that success in a field is not determined by inborn talent, but by practice and perseverance over the decades.
Oh, and I tell you, it's about deliberate practice is what they go into the book.
You got to get those 10,000 hours.
Right, but it's not just those. It's the deliberate practice where you are practicing a certain way, and then they go into some of the great receivers in the NFL and who's the guy from San Francisco? Is it Rice?
Jerry Rice, yeah.
So they go into Jerry Rice and how he practiced, and I just have to say, everybody's asking for it in the chat room. Oh, Audible. Audible.
Ooh, baby. That's a ringtone, by the way. There's a famous ringtone. Audible.com/TWiT2. Go there, get 2 books. Audible is the greatest library of audio entertainment ever. It's the Alexandria Library of audio, and you can get 2 books free right now. And cancel at any time and keep those books. Talent is Overrated. One of them, and the other one, Accidental Billionaires.
And so you could actually do that. You could sign up right now at Audible/TWiT, take the 2 books, and then cancel, and you just got 2 books. So there is literally nothing to lose. TWiT.
Nothing to lose.
Literally nothing.
Literally/TWiT2.
Audible.com/TWiT2. Thank you so much, Audible, for long-term support of this show. They've been keeping us going for a long time. So it turns out that Foursquare will be airing a TV commercial tonight on Bravo. You're a Foursquare investor, right, Jason?
Actually, an investor in Gowalla.
Oh, you're in Gowalla. I think Kevin has money in both.
He's got money in both, which is a little weird, but yes. And
he's betting the race, not the horses.
He's betting horse racing. I think he just bet on black and red.
Good twist.
Do you use, Brett Larson, do you use any of these location-based services?
I don't.
You live in New York. See, if you live in a big city and you probably go out every night.
Well, I have this weird phobia of people randomly knowing where. I mean, it's one thing, and not to like blow my own horn, because if I could, I'd never leave my apartment. But when you
okay, I just got it.
When you're on TV, everywhere you go, people know where you are because they see you.
Oh, so you're not allowed to go out?
Yeah, so
you're that big a celebrity in Manhattan that people would say
we have to be very careful. We always were warned about. You don't want to update your Facebook and say, "Oh, I'm going to be here," because
they'll track you down.
Because then people like stalkers can show up. And there's this great website. Have you seen PleaseRobMe.com?
Yes, we interviewed him last week on Net at Night.
That's a great example. I mean, look, I live in a large apartment building. You'd be
you don't say, "Here's my address. I'm going out. I'll be back in 5 hours." You don't put that on Foursquare.
Here's my argument against the PleaseRobMe.com. Monday through Friday, most people are at work.
Right. You know that.
Criminals only go out at night? I mean, what the hell is that?
Stupid. Well, they're stupid, but So let me play this. This is the ad. Let's see.
Object to it.
Now that you're no longer famous, Brett, you can go out.
Now that I'm only on the radio, people don't know what I'm
No, they have no idea. Exactly. This is why radio's always been the best medium.
Good.
Hey, Leo, before you play that, I want to air a gripe.
Okay.
Now that I have this big platform, because this is like my pet peeve. I love the general idea of Foursquare. I like being able to say in Foursquare, "Hey, I'm here," and it has tips and it says what's cool at the place you're at.
And you could be the mayor.
If you want to find friends, and if you stay within Foursquare, it's cool. But there are people who push their Foursquare where they are and that they've ousted the mayor of the Denny's restroom out to Twitter and Facebook, and it clutters up that stream. And I want to make an appeal to all the Foursquare and Gowalla and Yelp users. Don't do it. It's really irritating.
I post to my Facebook. I should probably stop. I'll turn that off.
Well, Facebook's okay. Facebook, I think it fits there.
Yeah, I don't put it in
Twitter. It's not a constant stream.
Yeah, I don't put it in Twitter.
But in Twitter, it's just really irritating.
I put it in my real-time news feed on Facebook, patent pending. So here's the ad. This will be on Bravo tonight, but you get to see it here first from Foursquare.com.
Bravo wants you to connect with your friends on Foursquare.
Where are you going from here?
Just check in on your mobile using the free Guides by Bravo or Foursquare apps. You'll find your friends and the best Bravo celebrity tips on where to go.
Bravo celebrity?
Earn exclusive badges when you follow Bravo on Foursquare. It's your mobile by Bravo.
Now that's interesting. That's a deal, obviously, that Foursquare's made.
Good for them. That's the place to have it run. Bravo.
Bravo? Really?
Bravo to them. Bravo. Well, I mean,
is Bravo like the channel for people who
is on Bravo.
Oh, it is. So it's a channel for people who go out? No.
It's Bravo.
It's the channel that people watch that gives them stuff to talk about.
Oh, so it is for
hipsters. Go out and they're like, "Oh, did you see Pimp My Runway," or whatever the hell the shows are called?
I was told one of the reasons that we're launching a morning show is I was told several times in many different ways by ad agencies and our own ad reps that 18 to 34-year-old people who are the obvious target for Gowalla and Foursquare don't watch TV. They don't see ads. They have no exposure to ads, and drives advertisers crazy that they can't reach this group. And so they're desperate to reach this group, and that would be a good reason why these apps might be very, very valuable for them.
Well, you got to figure if you can get your semi-popular show or popular show onto a social networking application and then integrate it into people's lives, that's my synergy motion. You synergize very all of these things together.
Nicely synergized.
And then, then not only are you're down at the West End Tavern, my favorite drinking hole across the street from me.
See, now you're going to have stalkers.
You're going to be stalked.
That, you're there and other people are there and maybe you're talking about Bravo shows.
Right. No, not a chance in hell. Do you think?
In related news, the Jersey Shore has now signed a deal with Chat Roulette.
Okay, let's talk about Chat Roulette. Even my wife knows about Chat Roulette, and she doesn't know about anything.
I was actually on Chat Roulette with your wife last night.
Well, Okay, so chat.
And that would be Jason's last appearance on TWiT.
No, we love whatever you just said. I'm sure is fine. So I'm going to go to chat roulette. So what happens with chat roulette is what?
You're going to go to
you're
chat
not going to chat roulette live. You can't do that.
Why not? You think there's some naked guys
don't
going to be
do
on
it,
there?
Leo.
1 out of 20 is a
Don't
penis.
do it.
1 out of 20 is a penis.
Oh yeah.
So
what?
how do I start
That's
this?
the tagline.
But it says chat roulette does not tolerate broadcasting
Yeah, right. Right on.
You
Why
click
does everything on the internet have to turn into porn?
Click play. Okay.
Don't do it.
No, it's going. You have to hit the play on the top left. Top left.
What?
Top left. The other top left.
Oh, yeah, Leo's on his ball.
It works. Where are you? Where are you from?
Hello, we're
I
calling
can't hear you. You chat. You type.
Oh, you type?
Maybe they can hear you.
Shoe on head.
Oh, they pressed next. Dudes, you just
Shoe on
got
head.
more clicks than you will ever have in the rest of your life. All right, so I'm gonna play next. So you press next, right?
Yeah.
And
You're
I'm-
not playing chat roulette.
You're doing this.
Oh!
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it only took one.
Warned you, Leo. You were warned.
Oh, Leo.
Oh!
Penis roulette.
Hit the dump button, Leo, quick!
Wait a second. If I get an FCC fine for this,
No,
you
there's
pay?
no FCC. It's the internet.
Oh my God! I think that's the first live penis on TWiT. Oh wait a second. Corey Doxrow was on this week.
Oh, now.
Oh, sorry.
I probably should have. I should press next and then hit the button to show what's on camera.
That was
It's
interesting.
a sad, lonely. Well, see, as soon as they see me, she's looking for penises, obviously.
You need to. It would be great if you could connect other people.
So what is
She's
what
looking
is this?
for penis. You found one.
What?
Connect them.
There's-
Synergize.
I know. Yes, right. I know where one is. What is the
Go
appeal of
back.
this?
Hit the back button.
Is there a back button?
No, there is no back button. Fortunately, there's no back button. Oh
But
no!
just keep going. You'll find one.
Now this isn't new. I remember this from a couple of years ago. Somebody did the same thing, but for some reason this just attracted a lot of attention.
There was one called See You Sue Me. You remember 95,
Yeah,
96, 97?
Oh, yeah.
Except that was you could have 20 different streams up at once. It was a university project. And
We know where that's going.
Is that going down?
Yeah, he's like
His
sitting there
hand
and
was.
moving.
Where was that other hand?
Yeah.
So who
It's not
does
on the
this?
remote.
Who is doing this?
it's about 10% female, about 80% penis, and 10% other.
Hey, there's the
Somebody
Jonas
did
Brothers.
statistics on it.
It's the Jonas Brothers. Everybody. Oh, they didn't want to stick around. See, nobody ever wants to stick around with me. They see me and they go, "Oh, I don't want to see that."
But this is what you get a lot is the groups of people. So you get like groups of girls in a dorm room. So what
Right.
I did the other night was I put Taurus and fondue on it.
Oh, that's clever.
And everybody stops. They will not hit F9. So get a really
So I
cute
need a
bulldog
dog.
and- you need a dog.
In fact, I should get out of the picture and just have the dog in the picture.
Or what you could do is you could just
they don't-
route it to a video of like a dog running around a circle, and they wouldn't know if you use that video thing that
Right.
you're talking about.
Yeah, the video hacker thing. Let's go. Oh, somebody's talking.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Where are you?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you from?
We're from Denmark.
Hello, Denmark. I'm
Uh-oh.
calling from California.
California. Oh my God, that's great.
Your English is excellent for a Danish person.
Oh, thank you. How's the weather there?
Oh, it's sunny and beautiful. How is it in Denmark?
Oh, and we got snow all over here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How many penises have you seen on?
No, they disconnected.
They just
They disconnected. Obviously, I wasn't
think they were
wooing
waiting.
them. Wow, that's okay. I can see why that's kind of appealing. I mean, it's kind of. Frankly, I couldn't stop pressing F9.
yeah. But where's the revenue stream on something
There's
like
no revenue stream.
It's a 17-year-old kid in Moscow who's doing it.
Is it really?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And
Well, I mean, you can make this.
the
in
guy,
a weekend.
Fred, the
It's
guy,
not
the
very
VC, what's his
sophisticated.
last name? Jason? Fred?
Davis?
Fred Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah,
He wants to bring him to
he
New
offered
York,
to fly him over.
Really? But this is a trivial thing to do. You could do this with.
But he did it.
He did it.
And
Right, he did it.
And he created a meme.
All right, I'm going to try holding the clock up because I think that'll be more compelling than me. I'm just gonna
Wait, Leo, don't stand up like that.
was that unattractive?
Don't do it, Leo. Don't do it.
Was that bad? Should I have not? Did you see something there? I'm sorry. I forgot I didn't have my pants on. Chat roulette. It's so simple and yet so compelling.
Unique.
It's pretty brutal.
Well, I only saw
two clicks.
I only saw
You got there in 2 clicks.
2 clicks. So that's kind of what you're doing here is you say how many clicks is it going to take to get to the center of the candy? But look, see, clock.
He's like, what's whiskey tango?
Clock. Clock. Ooh, see, look how long we've kept him now. 10. Oh,
that's a new record.
Quick. He looked busy. Okay, enough of that. Wow.
Dorm room.
What? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's what. But it seems to me, unfortunately, that's what the internet was invented for.
That's
Penis
what the
roulette.
song in Avenue Q says. Yeah. The internet is for porn.
That is not even porn. That is just what I don't know what that is.
It's time wasting. I think the internet is this next generation's television. Just like when we got, I remember when I was a kid and we got cable TV, it was like we went from having 5 channels to having 35 channels, and 30 of them were junk.
Ooh.
And now the internet, it's like you went from having 1,000 channels to an unlimited number of places to go.
Millions.
And this is what we've done with it. Turned our cameras on and watching random people pop
Miguel
up.
Helft, writing in the New York Times this week, says Intel was also a victim of almost exactly the same kind of cyber attack that occurred on Google and other companies. Intel is, I think, only the second or third company to admit it, and we're starting to see indications that maybe hundreds of companies were hacked by the Chinese at this time. Chuck Malloy at Google said the only connection between what we saw in January and the attacks on Google is timing, but according to the New York Times, Intel was part of the same wave of attacks that affected Google. And Malloy said later, based on more research, we can't rule out there may be other similarities between the Google and Intel attacks.
There's also a story in Computer World that says that more than 100 companies were targeted.
100.
And if you're a company, you don't want to be on this list because it makes it look like, you don't have control of your people. A lot of this was social engineering and phishing. And so, I don't see a lot of people wanting to cop to this.
And yet, I'm kind of, in a way, I think Google should get some credit for stepping forward and saying it happened to them. Because, look, if Google got hacked, these guys are sophisticated.
Well, and, it gave Google a chance, I think, to do something that a lot of its executives had wanted to do for a while, which is, I think, was find an out in China.
Right. Walmart adds its clout to movie streaming, also from the New York Times. Walmart says it's agreed to buy Voodoo. Remember Voodoo?
Yeah. Whatever happened to them?
They got bought by Walmart.
Well,
That's what happened to them. It was 3 years old. It was a movie service. They were actually building them into Blu-ray players and TVs. According to the Times, the price for the company was over $100 million. Wow. Best Buy, Amazon, Comcast, and EchoStar had also shown some interest in Voodoo. So what does this do?
I think it's great
shut down
because it needs to happen.
X-rated
the movie
turned off the
streaming
porno.
stuff needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, so is this like a Roku kind of thing?
I love the Roku.
I do too. We're on the Roku.
Put that out there.
We love the Roku because we're on the Roku.
And you know what? Here's my complaint about the Roku. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But there's not enough movies. There's not enough like blockbuster movies. There's plenty of indie films and documentaries and TV shows, but I want that HBO to go thing, which I actually get now because I have the Fios, the Verizon Fios.
You have Xfinity.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
No, Xfinity is the Comcast.
That's Comcast.
Verizon Fios is test marketing that HBO to go.
Well, when they say to go, what do they mean to go? Like you could take it with you?
You can log into HBO from your computer, so effectively you could do it at work and waste more time and watch HBO content, kind of like you can with the on-demand. So I think it's great.
It's Hulu for HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
but you know,
that's it.
HBO is the big kid in town, so they can be very restrictive with their content because they have very desirable content.
They're the one company making content people will actually pay for.
Right.
Yeah, or wait for, because a lot of people
And you
wait
just have
for
to prove that you have
out
an
on
HBO
DVD.
subscription to get it, right? That's going to be the plan.
Well, I have to access it. I have to use my Verizon FiOS login email, which I hate to admit this, I never set it up, so I don't know what it is.
this is very
'cause I
smart on
never-
their part, though.
I
'cause
have
now
that
it's like-
problem all the time. I use Gmail. I can never remember what's my Comcast email. What are they
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about?
When do you ever use your internet service provider's email? I'm not going to use it. So I can have a Verizon FiOS.net password or
We're
email?
outliers. We're not real people. We're outliers.
I like my email portable. I like it portable.
Very interesting. I was watching the tsunami coverage yesterday. Of course, everybody was worried. Their alarms were going off all over Hawaii. Everybody was worried that Hawaii was going to get hit by a pretty big tidal wave. Thank goodness it did not. But what did you see on CNN, on all the local stations?
Ustream.
Ustream.
Yeah, they were Ustreaming it. I was
I
like, wait
saw
a second, this is a
Ustream
very
coverage
meta
of
moment.
the of Chile. The
And Skype.
earthquake.
And Skype. And they were talking to people in Chile via Skype.
They were, tuning in to like 3 or 4 TV stations over Ustream. That was a watershed moment.
I think so. Did Ustream just got a pretty big influx of cash, as I remember?
$75 million
Holy-
from Masa, from SoftBank. Masa, I know Masa. He's a friend of mine. He runs SoftBank in Japan, and he was the richest man in the world at one point, actually.
Sun.
Son, and he's a Korean, but born in Japan, I believe, or he's lived in Japan his whole life. He's the most powerful guy in Japan, and he put in $75 million, I think, and he bought most of the company, and he is going to be bringing it to China and Japan.
Interesting.
And he sees it as the future. So those guys are Brad and his partner. Just congratulations to them.
Yeah, big. And of course, they're one of our streaming partners. In fact, they're the ones that allow us to do live streaming on the iPhone just through Safari because they have an H.264 stream, which we love. So, yeah.
This is a real business. And I didn't know.
Do you think
if it
they're
was-
the winner? I mean, we have Bit Gravity, Justin TV. There's live stream.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Do you think because of 75 million, they're going to win?
I think
Now-
they have the
okay.
best product.
Okay, because I was going to say, is it no longer that you've got the hippest name or the most users? Is it that you actually have to have the best platform and the best
I think they're all the
infrastructure?
same platform. I'm sorry, we use them all. I don't think there's that much difference. What do you use? You use them all?
I use Ustream.
Yeah.
But I think that Ustream is a little more robust than Justin TV. I don't think Justin TV is bad. Justin TV feels like a lot of people like putting soccer games illegally online.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
but
big problem
Ustream-
for all of these. Stickam, it was a big problem because they had a lot of cam girls, and it was very hard to live that down, you know?
Yeah, Ustream feels like they're doing content deals correctly.
Right.
It's all about
Like
the
they have a
content
deal with
at the end of
CBS,
the
so
day.
they can actually put CBS online legally.
Right.
And they do.
I hate to see anyone win only because it's good for us that there's some competition and there are different streams. If you go to live.twit.tv, you'll see along the bottom you can click different streams and find the one that works the best for you at the moment. I'd hate to see one just dominate that.
It's not going to be one. They'll be the winner, but they'll be like winner with 30% of the market.
Right. Okay, good. That's fine by me. No, I love Brad. Brad's a good friend, and he's been very supportive. We started streaming on Ustream many, many moons ago now.
I think that what they really need to do is just take the top end content and lock them in and do like multi-year deals with them and just go to somebody like you and say, we're going to buy your stream for this many years.
Right.
Just
What?
knowing where the direction they're going, and they should lock in the top content, the top 10 people.
It's smart.
We were exclusive to Stickam for a while, and I didn't like exclusivity because if their servers had problems, and everybody has problems from time to time, then I would be down. But I guess if you have that much money and you have that much infrastructure now, it's not as much an issue.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it can still happen regardless.
Yeah, I know. Welcome
Who
to the
you are.
internet.
I mean, diversity is good. That's one reason why your setup
Yeah.
works well, Leo. Is that if one doesn't work well, you choose the other.
We
You want
learned the hard way that's kind of what you have to do. Hey, this portion of the show brought to you by my friends at Squarespace. They are going to be really a great a friend to TWiT because it's their offices that we're going to use for our New York venture. It was very kind of them to step right up. We're big fans of them, and they're big fans of TWiT. I want you to go to squarespace.com/TWiT and visit Squarespace. It is a web hosting company / software company. So it's not a content management system alone. It's also the hosting. Starts as little as $8 a month. What's great about that, even if you have the $8 a month system, their virtual server technology means you'll never get overrun by, if I should pull up your site on TWiT or Slashdot or Dig, you can handle it. You get the great Squarespace iPhone app, which makes it really easy to post. You can import and export content from movable type, WordPress, TypePad, and Blogger. They've got social media integration. Beautiful templates, too. They just really look good. We're moving. I finally said, all right, we're going to move the Tech Guy radio show over. Our company blog is on it, Inside TWiT, which is inside.twit.tv. That's a Squarespace site. But, it's what's nice about Squarespace. The sites all look different. You couldn't tell that one site is a Squarespace site or another. Many photographers use it for their portfolios. That's because Squarespace has incredible galleries built in. It's automatic. It captures your vision. You can use the templates. You can customize the templates, but if you know CSS and JavaScript, you can also do anything.
You really want to go to squarespace.com/examples.
Yes.
That's where you can see how impressive it is. I don't know. That should be their front page in my mind.
Look at these. I mean, they're just all great, and they all look different.
And easy to do.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It really.
You know when those people come to you and say, like, hey, can you help me build my website and all this kind of stuff? And you're like, it's not what I do for a living. I don't build websites. Just send them to Squarespace because they get it done themselves. You'll save them from having to hire some designer for $5,000 who doesn't return phone calls.
Right.
These
guys are incredible. Just incredible.
They do a solid job.
Squarespace.com/twit to find out more. And go to squarespace.com/examples to take a look at the examples. You can sign up right now and use it free for 2 weeks. No credit card needed. And if you decide to buy, you get 10% off if you use coupon code TWIT. You're thinking about a new site? Your first site? Don't forget Squarespace. Give it a try. I think you will be very happy with it.
By the way, it's free without a credit card. So it's really you don't even need to take your credit card out, which is nice.
I really like it when people do that. It just makes it very simple.
And I just want to point out, everybody in the audience, if you're hearing my voice, it is your Geary, your humble responsibility to thank the sponsors on Twitter and Facebook and Buzz. You just go thanks at audible._com, at Squarespace, and at GoToMeeting. Just thank them.
Yeah.
I do.
I thank them. Boy, do I thank them. We wouldn't be.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the reasons we can even contemplate this morning show is because the advertisers, all of these advertisers, including Squarespace and Citrix, have stepped up and said Ford's going to come along. They said, yeah.
What is this? I heard about this on I was listening to This Week in Google, and they alluded to it. What is going on?
So, Squarespace is moving into a new office. They have still a long-term lease on their old office. It's on Broome Street. It's in Soho. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And they said, well, why don't you use it for TWiT East? And I said, well, what I'd like to do is build a studio out there and hire somebody like, I don't know, Brett Larson. And we're talking to other people as well, and I won't say names, but to host a morning show, an early morning show, daily, Monday through Friday, live out of there that is like TWiT. It's tech-focused, but it's fun. It's upbeat because we're on all these portable platforms like the iPhone and the Nexus One and streaming everywhere, as soon in the next few months we'll be streaming everywhere. So couldn't you wake up to a morning show that is on the internet instead of on a radio? Wouldn't that be cool? And then you get up, and start making breakfast, and you turn on the TV. It's there too. You get in the car, it's still there, and so that's what we want to do. And I just think that this is going to be not merely interesting for us, but I think a breakthrough for internet media.
I agree. It's
exciting.
It's the final frontier.
Yeah,
it's bringing it all together now because it's on all the platforms.
Exactly,
and it's that prime market of time. As someone who used to employ me once said, the only growth in media is in the morning.
The morning shows. That's where people are getting up, and that's where they listen. That's where radio makes all of its. Who is that? Okay, now it's better. It was just it's some interference or something. So I was thinking. I already got Kevin Sellis, who does internet, does a weather podcast. He wants to be the weatherman, so we're gonna have a staff meteorologist. But then I thought, we shouldn't do weather. We should do internet forecast. Well, it's a little congested over May West and going down through the southeast. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome.
Are you gonna do any? You say it's going to be an internet show. You going to do any traditional news?
Yeah, I think we'll have news.
Tuning in, you going to do straight news?
We'll have news at the top of every hour, just like you would on a regular radio show. Fewer units. We're only going to do maybe 5 units instead of they do. I work in commercial radio still. 19 minutes an hour. of commercials. When I take my radio show and edit out all the commercials, news, and traffic, a 3-hour show becomes 2 hours long. So we won't do that much. We'll do maybe 5 units an hour. But we will have a lot of those features because it's full service, right? When you get up, you need to know those things.
Right.
And I think we
really
can do that.
do.
It'll be fun.
And I feel like if you can give people that information, entertain them a little bit, and give them a bit of information about a subject that they like, which everybody loves tech, you're golden.
Exactly. Anyway, it's a really exciting idea. And one of the reasons I'm really thrilled to have Brett do this is he's in New York. He's cool. He's hip, and he knows technology so it's perfect. We need people like the funny, lively, interesting, young 18 to 30. You're still under 34, right, Brett?
Yeah, actually
okay.
I am.
Thank goodness. 18 to 34. That's why I'm not doing it. That's why I'm not involved. I'm too old for this stuff. I'm going to become a mogul.
Will it be branded TWiT?
Yeah, I think it'll be called TWiT Morning. I don't know exactly what we're going to call
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be branded TWiT. Yeah, wouldn't you listen if it were especially your fun?
Of course.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk Clayton into doing it with us.
It's a lot of work to do a daily show. I mean,
it is. And we'll have staff for it because it's a ton of work.
You're going to need 2 engineers and 2 hosts and a producer, 5 people, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're planning. Actually, we're planning 4 hosts, 2 of them producer types as well as hosts, an executive producer, engineer. And then a lot of, what's funny, as soon as I mentioned this, people have volunteered like crazy. There's so many people back in the New York area who want to be part of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent, and it's not like there's any place for them to go right now because Tech TV is gone.
Exactly.
There really is very little opportunity for a on-air talent. The local news stations have imploded.
Exactly.
Yes, they have.
So
and one problem is these guys get, the guys from local TV are overpaid.
Well, I know, and I can't pay that kind of money. So I look for people who are out of work.
They have to be entrepreneurial. They have to want to get a percentage of revenue.
That's what we're doing. We're doing a rev share. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so that will.
But see, that to me is the way it should have always been. When I was in radio, I wanted a cut of the ads.
Right.
Give me my
no downside.
$5 an hour, whatever the crap money I was making, but give me 10%.
And you're doing the ads, so the results are tied to you and all that.
What time would you start, Leo? What time?
I don't know. What Brett was saying, I was going to say 6 to 10, and then Brett says that's too early. Nobody's up at that hour.
8 o'clock.
The New York Metro is weird though because you've got multiple. It's like multiple rings of people where you've got the people on the island and the people in New Jersey, Long Island, not Manhattan, who get up at 5 to get into the city by 8, right. And then as you get closer, your commute, shrinks down.
Right.
So your commute times go all the way to 9 o'clock.
Well, and then we'll repeat it because that's why we do it back east. We repeat it again for the West Coast. And frankly, you know what? I think we're going to have a separate channel for it and just repeat it around the clock because we have people all over the world who listen who would love to get up to This. Those girls in Denmark,
They said they had a lot of snow.
There's a lot of snow out here.
In Denmark.
I know why they didn't have the camera on because I could tell they were hot.
Yeah, they were definitely in a hot tub with snow around.
Yeah, we are wearing white ermine earmuffs, but that is all. That is all. Lenovo says businesses don't want slates. They refreshed their tablet. Lenovo makes these great convertible tablets. But they said, we're not going to make a slate. We're not going to make it, which is something without a keyboard. We think our business audience wants a keyboard. They want convertibles. We are not going to do an iPad or anything like it.
Yeah, it's highly vertical, I think, if you want to do a slate. Doctors, I could see using slates. People in the medical profession and something where you would normally walk around with a clipboard. But beyond that, I don't see the average business person wanting to go without a keyboard.
Are you still, Dwight? You were kind of negative on the iPad the day of the announcement. Where are you now? Here we are a month in. We're a month away, I presume. Although we still haven't seen a pre-order.
The jury is still out. I think. Well, interestingly, don't tell my parents. They don't listen to this, but I would love to get one of these for them. I think it would really suit them.
Exactly.
I could see my grandmother wanting to use that.
I want to use it.
I don't know that my parents would want to use it though.
Well, I think there's some appeal to older people with it. First of all, you can make the fonts on it bigger very easily.
Right.
You just have to touch it. I don't see them needing necessarily to type a lot of stuff into it, and I think if you Apps will get better. Things like the Dragon Dictation app will get better. I suspect that you'll see probably some of the voice recognition that was in the iPhone 3GS expanded for more use in the iPad.
But is it going to be powerful enough
sitting
for that?
in the living room and tapping it, reading things on it, looking at media on it. I think it's a really good device for people who aren't necessarily interested in the pain that a real computer can bring.
I just look at it. Well, I look at it from how I would use it, and I see it as it looks like an iPhone that got run over by a steamroller, so it looks like a big iPhone. And I don't like. I think that would be kind of nice to take to the gym to watch like a TV show while you're running on the treadmill. But then when you're done, you got to carry it around if you want to listen to your music.
Yeah, no, it's too big for the music. I think it's going to be a bigger success than anybody realizes because I think there's all these individual little use cases like reader, TV, gym, and there's enough of those in a lot of different slices that people will buy them. I can't wait to play Scrabble on it, and so people will buy them, and then there'll be all these other uses for it.
Yeah,
although we don't.
What I'm curious to see is what will happen with magazines because I feel like and this is I'm not looking in a crystal ball. This is obvious. Magazines are just dying by the waist by Left, Right, Sunday.
For them?
This, I feel like if it was done right, this could be good for
John
magazines.
Battelle, though, it wrote, and I thought a very good point in which he says, look, this is just more media lock-in. It doesn't make sense in the age of the web to lock content into Apple's,
100% right.
But there is a browser on it, Jason.
I know, but the problem is the whole selling of content he's going to try to put through there, like he locked down music, and it's just bad. Any publisher who supports this is, if it's closed like this, it's not a good idea.
This is what Jeff Jarvis says. He says it's a step backwards. This is not the web as we know it, the open web, and in the long run.
Doesn't it have that ebook reader open format?
Sports EPUB, yeah. Sports EPUB.
Yeah. It's EPUB with DRM on it.
Oh, there's DRM, not necessarily.
There is on their applications, on the books that they're selling, it'll be have DRM.
I got some inside information though. That's pretty interesting about this.
Okay.
I talked to a very large publisher, and I was like, "How could you give Steve Jobs all of this information without getting the email address of your customers? Because you're in charge of circulation. If you give away your circulation, you're crazy." He said to me, major, publishing person, no, we will not do it. And I told Steve Jobs we will not do it unless we have access to the list of people who subscribe, who are the subscribers. So if you subscribe to X newspaper, the newspaper deserves to know who their subscribers are.
I think that's fair. Yes.
And Steve Jobs rolled over like a puppy and got his belly rubbed.
Was he wearing that hat that they talked about that he was wearing? And
I don't know, but he basically acquiesced. So I think
he has to acquiesce.
Well, he didn't to the music companies.
Yeah, this is different.
I know it is, but what it points out is that he's a great poker player in the music industry and the TV industry are not. The TV industry and the music industry say to him, if people download our stuff, we get their contact info.
Right.
If he rolled over, then he got something as well.
Yeah, but I feel like the example of the music industry, they desperately needed something to stop the Napsters and the LimeWire and all this rampant free downloading. They needed something, and I really feel like Apple provided the best service for them, and it was obviously a great starting point because of all the things that have come since. With publishers, I'm shocked. I would feel like they would be rolling over just as like, please help us.
Aren't they more desperate?
Well, they're not more desperate because they do have an outlet. They do have the web. Most publishers, I think, have a stated strategy where they'll give you a whole lot of content free. They'll give you some that you pay for individually, and then to get a really good experience, which is what the iPad will do, they'll charge you for those apps. You're going to see the New York Times app become a paid app, and they'll be selling subscriptions out of that. And so there's like a three-tier strategy, and there will still be the free stuff. I think breaking news is going to always be free because that's a commodity, what's happening right now. But as things kind of spread out, you get longer pieces and more thoughtful pieces and content that you really can't get anywhere, the Wall Street Journal model, you'll pay for that, and then you'll pay for great presentation.
And also it opens up the door for some of the larger networks to provide sort of a freemium, like you can watch CNN on your cable, and it's great. And you can go to our website and get stuff for free. And now for $1 a month, I'm totally making this up. For $1 a month, you can get access to our, CNN archives exclusive content that you're not gonna, they'll stop putting stuff on their website to get you to take it. Because I feel like the only way news agencies are going to make money on the web, because of what you were saying, news isn't just a commodity, everybody's doing it, is archives. They gotta. If you put that stuff out there and you could go back and watch news back when it was really well done, people might be willing to pay.
When was that?
Willing to pay.
Although
40 years ago.
Poor Brett started to realize where he was going with this one. It was like, it's been a while.
On second thought.
Newspapers have been doing this for a while. We put our archives at first behind a wall. You had to register to see it, or even in some of the earlier days of the web, you paid to get to the archives. And slowly, they've kind of been taking these walls off of it, mainly because they thought there would be a lot of page views from archives. And it turns out that, at least for a lot of papers, that hasn't happened. And so video may be different. It'd be really interesting to see all these archives from history on there, but there's also the issue of getting them onto the web, which is not trivial when you're talking about video.
That's true, but there's got to be a reason to do it. A great example that I love to share because I thought it was genius. When I was at CBS a couple of years ago, the subway went on strike, and it wasn't the first time the subway went on strike. So what CBS did is they dug up, I don't know how, because we had this antiquated tape library that was like in a dark, wet room.
There's a guy. I know where that is. It's on the bottom shelf.
Yeah. And there really was, too. Yeah. God rest his soul. But there really was a guy. You'd go and you'd be like, school shooting, 1974, 104th Street in Amsterdam. Go down the hall there. Turn left. Bottom shelf, red tape. But what they did was they put up all the news coverage of the subway strike from the 1970s. So when we were doing this wall-to-wall coverage, which local news is so fond of oh my God, the subways aren't working.
Right.
We could also say, hey, this isn't the first time this has happened. Go take a look at what happened and see the resolutions and see the progression of it from the last time. That's where you can't just tell people, here's our archives, dig around. You have to give people well, this isn't the first time a president has had a physical.
You know who does that so well is The Daily Show. I don't know who they've got as their librarian or their editors.
Snapstream. They're using a company called Snapstream based here in Houston.
Really?
Yeah, that basically does contextual searches within video.
Because they can find anything. I mean, they'll pull up and I mean, in real time and almost, because I mean, it's like 3 hours later, they've got a clip reel on The Daily Show, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a great company. They've been around for a long time. They started out with a product that was similar to TiVo for PCs, and they got out of the consumer market. I think it's TV Beyond TV is what it's called.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
right. And they have kind of moved out of the consumer market and are selling this technology to companies like to The Daily Show.
So they must have. Do they have? Is it done automatically by computers, or do they have humans tagging it?
It's done automatically.
They could be taking in the closed captioning and marrying it to the video stream.
Oh, clever.
There are people also who will crowdsource this for you really simply for a very small amount of money, like tag this, and then what they do is they'll run two people against the same program, and they'll only put in the tags that match, and then they have a third person look at the deltas and figure out, oh, well, this person said there's a horse, and this other person said, oh, they're playing basketball. Oh, I see, they're playing the game of horse and basketball, whatever. Clever. So you can have basically two people in India or Manila or whatever do it.
It's the Mechanical Turk kind of thing.
Yeah, or America, any place where you have low-price workers available.
Utah.
Exactly.
Prisoners. Jason Calacanis does a host of shows now. He is the king of This Week In. You now officially take the title. In fact, you have thisweekin.com, right?
I got the clearance from The Godfather. You gave me clearance to buy it. I bought it, and I hope to build a couple of shows.
That's
awesome.
Awesome.
Everybody's like, Leo must hate you. How did you do this to Leo? And I'm like, listen, I asked for permission. I genuflected. I said, listen, Godfather, I would like to. I couldn't
stop you. What? Mel Allen. Ask Mel Allen. He's the guy who owns This Week in Baseball. It's the generic, but I'm thrilled that you're doing it, and I'm glad you're doing. You do This Week in Startups.
Yeah, and it's doing great. And we do This Week in Cloud Computing, and that's got sponsors.
And you're doing it This Week in Android apps, right?
And this week Android, yeah. So we're just going to do like niche ones that you don't get to. And as you know, I actually even clear with you like, hey, I'm thinking of doing these ones. Are you going to do them? So I'm basically like, I respect what you've done in this space enough that I don't want to step on your toes. And
there's plenty of room, believe me. In fact,
I
need more people succeeding in this because I don't want to be the only guy out here doing it.
It's what's happening is it's very much like Weblogs Inc. We have all these blogs started building on each other.
Right.
I get one sponsor, then they buy on yours, and I forward sponsors onto you all the time.
Right.
We're educating them on this new medium, like
Exactly.
it's worth sponsoring. And
It's early enough that there's no competition going on.
There's no competition right now. Yeah, in another 2 years,
Yeah,
it's on.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, Jason. You're out of here.
Swords are coming out.
You're out of here. Jason
In another 2
Calacanis.
years, the garbage
weekend-
man's coming to
this
take you
weekend-
out.
And the garbage man. If you find a horse head in your bed, Jason, you'll know where. Actually,
The
I'm not.
snow cleanup begins tomorrow. Leave anything you don't need in the drift.
Actually, this is my prediction. I predict that there'll be 3 or 4 networks like This Weekend and Leo's, and they'll all wind up merging and be like this mega company.
Yeah. I don't want to run
Adam
it.
Curry's doing interesting stuff. No, I just think there's going to be an exit for everybody because somebody will come and say, hey, let's put 5 of these things together and get scale. You have 5 things making $1 million or $2 million each. You put them together, all of a sudden you get scale.
Great idea.
And then you
wait
get
a
rid of
second.
everybody.
Yeah, that's all right. By then, I'm old. I want to be on the beach anyway. Mahalo.com, MAHALO.com is Jason's human-powered website that has great information on it.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Silverman is the tech blog at blogs.cron.com/techblog, and you can read his stuff there, including his weekly link roll, which, Dwight, I have to confess, gives me the backbone of the newscasts for the whole week.
Well, and I have a great time doing it. I think that I missed a link post yesterday because I was helping with our earthquake tsunami coverage, and I felt horribly guilty. And I thought of you, Leo. I thought, I've let Leo down.
You did. You let me down. I don't have any stories from Friday.
But we had good coverage from the tsunami and earthquake. So
Oh, yeah, you did.
That was
Or the
some amazing,
non-tsunami.
amazing stuff.
Really incredible, yeah.
And really, I really feel like the earthquake and the tsunami, granted, we just had one in Haiti, and it was significantly worse. But it really showed the power of the internet and social media and cell phones and like all of the infrastructure that Haiti didn't have that had to be flown in. They had, so it was an immediate, like, here's what's happening on the street right now.
It was
And
very
the
interesting.
earthquake happened.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch the progression of the news day.
And it was also interesting for us because we're here in Houston, Texas, and we were, we would normally would have relied on the Associated Press and so forth, but we were pulling in content from Twitter, we were pulling in video from Ustream, we were pulling in, we were grabbing photos off TwitPic and putting them into a blog, and so it gave us the ability to do the depth of coverage that normally a regional newspaper just wouldn't have.
Right.
Right.
Blogs.cron.com/techblog. Thank you for being here as always, Dwight. We really
Thank
appreciate it.
you, Leo.
And Brett, I want to see a lot more of you. I have a feeling in the next months or so. Brett Larson is at brettlarson.com. Good old friend, and it's really great to see you again, and look forward to working with you more.
Good to see you, Leo.
Thank you, Brett.
Here in New York, I've survived all 4 Snowmageddons. And
how much
as I
snow
like
is
to
on the
say-
ground right now?
well, right now there's none. It's all melted. It was
Oh.
40-something degrees today. The snow was actually up to my window yesterday because I have a little balcony up to the window. Very nice. And we got 36 inches of snow in the month of February.
That's in New York City. That's something. That's really saying
Yeah.
something. Wow.
That's insanity.
Thank you all for being here. Don't forget, we do this show live on live.twit.tv every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's 6 p.m. Eastern time, 2300 UTC, if my calculations are correct. I hope you will join us then and subscribe to the show. You can get it automatically. We're redoing the URLs. I think you will be automatically resubscribed to the new. We're going to do feeds.twit.tv. And I think it'll all happen automatically, and it certainly does in iTunes. But if for some reason any of the Twit feeds disappear and you don't see it, just resubscribe. And more video coming from all the shows. This will be the first, I believe this week our iTunes video feed will be coming up just in time for Chat Roulette.
Somebody just named the show.
You gonna edit that, Leo?
This is the best name. Twit 237. I got one in 2 clicks.
Nice.
I can name that in 2 clicks.
Another twit.
Yeah, literally, in the can.
Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Let's go round.